There is a scene almost every dog owner knows by heart. It is a quiet morning, the house is still, the coffee is hot. You finally settle into your favorite chair, that one chair that fits your back just right, the one that feels like part of the house and part of you. Then you stand up for less than a minute. Maybe to refill your mug, maybe to stir the fire, maybe just to grab something across the room. And before you have taken 3 steps, your dog is already there. Not near the chair, not beside it, in it, exactly where you were. They lower themselves into the cushion like they have been waiting for this moment all morning. Sometimes they circle first, sometimes they bury their nose deep into the fabric. Sometimes they just collapse into your spot with absolute confidence, look up at you, and seem to say, yes, this is mine now. It's mine. Most people laugh. Some get annoyed. A few assume it is a stubborn little power play. But the truth is a lot more moving than that. Because when your dog steals your seat, they are usually not trying to challenge you. They are trying to be close to you in the most biologically honest way they know how. What looks like a simple habit is often a layered behavior built from scent, warmth, memory attachment, anticipation, and trust. In other words, your dog is not just taking your chair. They are stepping into your presence, and once you understand that you will never look at a stolen seat the same way again, your dog lives in a world built from scent. To understand this behavior, we have to start where your dog starts, with the nose. Human beings are visual creatures. We walk into a room and notice shape, light, color, furniture movement. Dogs experience that same room differently. For them, scent is not a detail, it is the structure of reality. What you call a chair, your dog experiences as a living record of your recent existence. When you sit down, you leave behind more than warmth. You leave oils from your skin, traces of sweat, your unique body chemistry, and the subtle scent changes that come with emotion and physiology. Stress smells different from calm. Effort smells different from rest. Even after you stand up, those signals remain in the cushion, the fabric, the armrest, the air around it. So when your dog moves into your spot, they are not simply choosing a comfortable place to lie down. They are stepping into the strongest concentration of you. And to a dog that matters more than we tend to realize, a dog's sense of smell is extraordinarily powerful. Depending on breed, dogs have hundreds of millions of scent receptors, far more than we do, and their brains devote far more processing power to smell than ours ever could. That means the space you just vacated does not feel empty to them. It feels occupied by your chemical signature. That is why a dog may sniff your seat with such intensity. They are not being odd, they are reading information. Even more beautiful brain imaging research has shown that the scent of a familiar human can activate the canine caudate nucleus, an area associated with reward and positive expectation. In plain English, your smell does not merely inform your dog, it comforts them, it matters to them emotionally. It is not just data, it is connection. So the chair is not merely a chair, it is a place where your dog can still find you after you have left it. It is the lingering version of your presence. It is, in a very real sense, the smell of home. The warm spot matters more than you think. Now add the second layer, heat. Anyone who has ever returned to a chair after standing up knows the feeling of that leftover warmth. On a cool morning, that warm spot feels good to us. To a dog, it can feel irresistible. Dogs naturally run warmer than humans, and they are constantly making small choices that help them regulate comfort. They seek soft surfaces, they seek protected spots, they seek warmth. For puppies, this tendency begins almost immediately. Newborn pups cannot regulate body temperature well on their own, which is why they survive by huddling together. That early biological lesson never completely disappears. Warmth equals safety. Warmth equals relief. Warmth equals rest. That is part of why your dog so often gravitates toward the exact place you just left. Your body has done the work of heating it for them. And there is an even more remarkable piece to this. Research suggests dogs can detect weak thermal radiation with the rhinarium, the cool, hairless, moist surface at the tip of the nose. That means your dog may identify the warm seat before they even touch it. In a sense, they can find comfort before their paws ever reach the cushion. For an older dog, this matters even more. Aging joints, early arthritis, muscle stiffness, and thin coats can make warmth deeply soothing. In that case, your chair is not simply convenient. It is therapeutic. It is support. It is relief wrapped in your scent. So when your dog curls into your freshly vacated chair, what you may be seeing is not mischief at all. You may be seeing instinct meet comfort. You may be seeing a body choose the place that feels safest, softest, warmest, and most familiar. You are more than an owner. You are their secure base. Now we get to the emotional center of it. Attachment theory is usually discussed in human psychology, but it applies powerfully to dogs as well. Study after study has shown that dogs form meaningful attachment bonds with their people. They look to us for security, emotional regulation, reassurance, and orientation. In times of uncertainty, they return to us. In unfamiliar settings, they use us as a reference point. In moments of stress, our presence changes their behavior. That is not dependency in the shallow sense. That is bonded attachment. In practical terms, your dog experiences you as a secure base. You are where safety begins, and that helps explain why your seat holds so much value. In your dog's mind, it is not just where you sat. It is the place most strongly linked to your presence, your stillness, your smell, your calm, your authority, your familiarity. When they move into that spot, they may be doing something psychologically profound, reducing the distance between themselves and you. Even when you are only a few feet away, your chair can function as a symbolic extension of you. Your dog may not think in language the way we do, but behaviorally, the message is clear. If I cannot be on you, I can be where you were. And there is another possibility many owners never consider. Sometimes your dog may not think they are stealing your place at all. They may think they are keeping it. In social species, proximity to valued group members matters. Important locations matter. Familiar scent zones matter. If your dog loves your chair because it smells like you, then settling into it may also function as a kind of watchkeeping. They stay with your scent. They remain near your place. They preserve contact with what matters most. That is not dominance. That is devotion. Your dog is a student of your every move. Have you ever noticed that your dog often begins moving toward your chair before you are fully out of it? That part feels almost supernatural. It is not. It is observation. Dogs are astonishing pattern readers. They study us continuously, our breathing posture routines, timing sounds, tiny gestures, repeated habits. They know the difference between the way you shift when you are getting comfortable and the way you shift when you're about to stand. They know which hand moves first. They know the sound of a coffee cup being set down. They know the rustle of clothing that usually comes right before motion. That is what years of close cohabitation create. Not just affection, prediction. Your dog is constantly building expectations from the smallest cues. And once they learn that your rising from the chair creates a brief window of opportunity, they do not need an invitation. They are already in motion. But that anticipation is not only about winning the seat. It is about following your choices. Dogs are social learners. If the person they trust most keeps choosing one place over and over, they notice. They infer value from repeated behavior. In the canine mind, your favorite spot must be worth wanting. You selected it, you returned to it, you endorsed it with your body every day. So your dog learns the same lesson many children do in a loving family. What matters to you probably matters for a reason. And because they are attached to you, they often want what keeps them closest to your life. No, this is usually not an alpha move. We need to pause here and clear out one of the oldest myths in dog culture. For years, people were told that behaviors like sleeping in your spot, walking through a doorway first, or taking a favored chair were signs of dominance. The old interpretation was simple: your dog is trying to outrank you. Modern behavior science does not support that explanation. The outdated alpha dog view came from flawed interpretations of captive wolf behavior and was later oversimplified into domestic dog training. Even L. David Meck, one of the researchers most associated with early wolf dominance language, later clarified that wild wolf packs are better understood as family units rather than constant status battlegrounds. That distinction matters. Your dog is not a wolf, and even wolves are not what pop culture told us they were. In most homes, seat stealing is not a challenge for leadership. It is a response to value. The seat is warm. It smells like you. It is comfortable. It is central. It is familiar. It is emotionally rich. That is enough to explain the behavior without inventing a power struggle. Here is the simplest test when you return. Does your dog happily move or move with mild reluctance, but no tension? If so, you are almost certainly not looking at a status battle. You are looking at a dog who found the best spot in the house and trusted that being near your scent was a good place to be. That is not rebellion. That is attachment mixed with good taste. When affection turns into anxiety, now we also have to be honest. Not every version of this behavior is harmless. Most of the time your dog taking your seat is affectionate, instinctive, and emotionally normal. But occasionally, a dog can become truly distressed about giving the spot up. That is where we shift from attachment into resource guarding. And this is important. Resource guarding is not your dog being bad. It is usually your dog being worried. A guarded dog is a dog who fears losing access to something that feels important for safety, comfort, or control. The item may be food, a toy, a bed, a resting place, or yes, your chair. Watch the body language. A relaxed dog in your seat looks soft. Loose face, normal eyes, easy movement. A worried dog may freeze. Their body may stiffen. Their head may lower. You may see the whites of the eyes in a side glance, the classic whale eye. The mouth may close tightly. A low growl may appear. These are not signs of cruelty. They are signs of discomfort and defensive stress. If that happens, force is the wrong answer. Do not drag the dog off the chair. Do not punish the growl. Do not attempt an alpha roll. Modern veterinary behavior guidance has repeatedly warned that coercive dominance-based methods can increase fear and worsen the problem. Instead, make movement safe and rewarding. Teach a calm trade. Offer a high-value treat tossed a short distance away. Reinforce getting off the chair. Build a dependable cue, such as place or bed. Create a more appealing resting area nearby. For many dogs, putting an unwashed t-shirt or blanket with your scent on their own bed can dramatically increase the value of that space. The goal is not to win a contest. The goal is to reduce anxiety and create cooperation. A secure dog does not need a battle. A worried dog needs clarity. Why dogs are so intensely drawn to us. There is one more layer to this story, and it goes all the way down to genetics. Dogs are not merely wolves that happen to tolerate humans. Through domestication, they became uniquely tuned to us socially, emotionally, behaviorally, even biologically. Research has identified structural variants in genes such as GTF2I and GTF2IRD1 genes, also linked to hypersociability in humans, with Williams-Buren syndrome. That does not mean dogs have a disorder. It means science is finding real biological clues for something dog lovers have always known, intuitively. Dogs are built to seek us. They are unusually responsive to our faces, our voices, our gestures, our moods, our routines, and our nearness. Over thousands of years, the human-dog bond became one of the most remarkable interspecies relationships on Earth. So when your dog chooses your chair, they are not making a random household decision. They are following a deep domesticated impulse to orient toward the person who defines their world. They want your scent. They want your warmth. They want your place. Because in their mind, your place is where connection lives. That is not clinginess in the dismissive sense people sometimes use. That is the DNA of companionship. So what is your dog really saying? The next time you walk back into the room and find your dog settled into your seat, pause for a second before you laugh or sigh or tell them to move. Look closely. You are looking at an animal who has chosen out of every square foot in that house the exact place that carries the strongest signal of you. Not because they wanted to insult you, not because they wanted to outrank you, not because they were plotting some tiny domestic coup from the armchair, but because your scent makes them feel close, your warmth makes them feel safe, and your place feels like belonging. To your dog, that chair is not a piece of furniture. It is where your presence still exists after you leave. In a world they experience through smell, temperature pattern, and bond, your seat becomes something almost sacred. It is the place where comfort and attachment overlap. It is the nearest thing to having you there when you are not there. And maybe that is the part worth remembering, because dogs do not love us abstractly. They love us physically, concretely, biologically. They love our routines, our footsteps, our chairs, our blankets, our side of the bed, the jacket we wore yesterday, the place on the couch where our scent lingers strongest. Their love is often quiet, but it is never casual. So maybe your dog stealing your chair is not bad behavior nearly as often as it is a silent love letter. A simple one, an honest one, a biologically perfect one. I missed you. I know this is where you were. I wanted to be close. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel like I was still with you. And in the short life of a dog, that may be one of the purest compliments they can give. Sit beside them sometimes. Share the space, because in the end, the chair was never just yours. To your dog, it was always part of the life you built together. If this story gave you a new way to understand your dog, subscribe to Dogaholic. This channel is for people who know dogs are more than pets. They are family memory, routine, and heart. Here we go beyond cute moments and dig into the real meaning behind canine behavior, using both science and lived experience to make sense of the bond we share with them. If you enjoy thoughtful stories, practical insight, and a deeper look at why dogs do what they do, you're in the right place. Leave a comment and tell me one habit your dog has that used to confuse you, but now feels meaningful. And if there's someone in your life who loves their dog like family, share this with them. At Dogaholic, we don't just talk about dogs. We honor the quiet, extraordinary ways they love us every single day.